Hi everyone and welcome back to LL Sports TV. Hope you're all doing well. I'm your host Laurie and I'm joined today by AFTV's First Lady and regular contributor to LL Sports TV, Kenya in the building.
What's up? You good?
How you doing, man?
Yeah, good.
It's a nice hot day in London today,
it's
man.
hot today.
And it's going to be like that for the next, I think, week. Going to get a bit of a heat wave and then we're going to get showers and rain. But anyway, what I thought we'd do today, Kenya, is to talk about the Club World Cup because it's upon us. It starts this weekend and I'm getting a lot of people in my comments, a lot of people stopping me in the street asking me about the Club World Cup. So what I thought I'd do for today is do a little bit of research and talk about the Club World Cup, everything you need to know about the Club World Cup. Yeah? Is that right?
Yeah.
You're familiar with the Club World Cup, of
Yeah,
course?
I'm familiar.
The first and most obvious thing is, what is the Club World Cup exactly? Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's an international club football tournament organised by FIFA. It's a revamped concept. It's a lot bigger this time around. 32 teams. They've gone from holding it every couple of years to they're going to hold it once every 4 years, sort of a bit like the World Cup. So that's the first thing to talk about. In terms of how it's structured, 32 teams made up from different club teams from 6 confederations around the world. So, for example, UEFA, Europe, there's 12 teams that will be in the Club World Cup from Europe. CONMEBOL, that's another confederation, South American Federation, 6 teams. The Asian Confederation, AFC, 4 teams. CAF, Africa, 4 teams. CONCACAF, which is North America, Central America and the Caribbean, 4 teams. OFC, that's Oceania, 1 team, and the host country, which is America, Inter Miami, they'll be representing America. I'm not going to name all 32 teams because we haven't got time for that. But it's basically 6 confederations and a number of teams representing each confederation. Yeah. Right. The tournament's been held in America. It starts this weekend, June the 14th. It will end on July the 13th. That's when the final will be. The tournament will take place in 12 different stadiums across 11 different cities. So as you can see, it's a massive tournament. And the final will be held at the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey.
Okay,
So, Kenya, what do you think so far?
Sounds like a World Cup of domestic clubs.
Basically,
do you know
that's
what I mean?
What it is.
Like, yeah, it sounds... I mean, they've tried to revamp it from obviously what it used to be. So I guess we'll see. It's the first time we're ever going to see something like this, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But I think it's quite interesting that obviously the majority of the teams in it are European teams, which, to be honest, I guess if they want this to be like, without trying to sound condescending, if you want it to be as successful, you do want to get the biggest clubs.
That's right.
In it, so.
And Europe is
Europe
honest,
in terms
of
football.
Yeah, in terms of
it's the most. It's got all the most watched leagues in the world in it. So naturally, But we'll see how it goes, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So sounds good so far. The criteria for qualification. Now that was based on the performance of each confederation's Premier League club competition. So in other words, you had to score in terms of your league. Who was the better ranked teams?
Yeah.
In terms of Europe, for example, the way they judged it wasn't just on the Premier League or the leagues. It was also in the Champions League. So it was winners of Champions League winners. Yeah. And then it was based on the best ranked eligible teams based on a 4-year UEFA club system.
Okay, so kind of, I don't want to say like coefficient points, but kind of like the teams that were in the Champions League consistently in the last 5 years, who would have won it. So that makes sense why, like, and I always wondered like why Atletico's in it, because they haven't won a Champions League. But I guess they're in it every season and they get quite far, so it makes sense.
Similarly, the 2 representatives from the UK, a lot of people are wondering why Chelsea are in it. Man City are in it. Man City are actually the holders of this competition.
Yeah.
Chelsea, a lot of people said, how come Liverpool were in it? But like you said, it's based on, over a period of time.
Yeah, they've won, for England anyways, they've won the Champions League, most recently Chelsea and City, so. Yeah, I guess.
And so it's kind of similar the way they've done it for each of the confederations. In terms of the tournament format, there's a group stage. So the 32 teams will be divided into 8 groups of 4 teams. It's a single match round robin system. And then 2 teams from each group will go through to the round of 16. Bit like, in the Champions League. top 2 teams go through to the. Actually, they don't do that in the Champions League anymore. Old money. That's what they used to do. Yeah. So the top 2 teams from each group advance to the round 16, and from then on, it's a direct elimination format, which I think works quite well.
Yeah, and it's easier, it's quicker to. For the amount of time they got, it's easier to do. You can turn it around quickly. Yeah,
and there's no third, fourth place playoff in this new format, which is
don't bore us with that.
No one really feeling that third, fourth place anymore. If a knockout match is tied at the end of normal time, extra time be played, 2 50-minute periods. If still tied, the match will go to a penalty shootout. So it's kind of like what we've seen already. You okay with that?
Yeah. Sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty decent.
Yeah. And the prize for the winner.
This is the important part.
So you're talking about upwards of $125 million for the winner, which is kind of in line with what they get for winning the Champions League.
Yeah. I think it might be a bit more.
Yeah, sounds like it. I mean, it's dollars, so I don't know how that equates into euros, but it's still a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, man, that's a lot of money.
So you can see why a lot of the clubs across the world are taking this very seriously. I mean, I get the impression, Kenya, that with the fans, a lot of the fans are not totally all into it yet. They're not totally immersed themselves into it yet, but I think once the tournament gets underway and people see how seriously the clubs are taking it. I mean, so by way of example, Trent. He's gone to Real Madrid from Liverpool. They paid an extra 10 million.
Yeah, to get him so Liverpool could release him early. Yeah,
so he could play in this tournament. So they're clearly taking it seriously. So I don't know, Man City, they're taking it seriously. They noticeably signed a few players in time for this tournament.
In fact, that's why they have, although it's closed now, but that's why the transfer window opened earlier in the shop. Right. Yeah. So those teams that are in the Club World Cup can sign players basically to take there. And like I don't know if you've seen, but a lot of the Saudi clubs, like there's talks of Ronaldo going to Al Hilal just for that time. I think even N'Golo Kante, they wanted to loan him, stuff like that, just so they could play in it. So I mean, like you said, the clubs are taking it very seriously. I mean, it's a lot of money on the line. If you win it, it's a good prize. It's a good prize pot.
It is. And as well as the money, Kenya, I think the bragging rights are going to be something to be spoken of, because to be able to call yourself the best club side in the world with this new format, the way they're going about it. So, for example, whoever gets called the inaugural Club World Champions of this format, I think it carries a lot more weight than it did previously.
Yeah, it's true. I do have some questions about it, though, because I feel like... So, you know how we have the Super Cup? So, obviously, the Super Cup is the Champions League winner versus Europa League winner. So, that's PSG versus Spurs. So, if you win that, are you not champions of the world? Or you... because I guess in a way you're not, because you haven't actually played any other teams outside of Europe, but you already are champions of Europe, both of those teams in a way.
Yeah, sort of European super champions.
So what do you call yourself from that? Like, does this competition maybe take away from that a bit?
I think it does, to be
honest. But then I guess in the same breath, I actually do think now that you've got all these big teams in it, it's more interesting than watching that kind of glorified one-off friendly. That's just...
Yeah, I mean, this is clearly being structured kind of alongside the World Cup. The World Cup takes place next year. This is kind of like a precursor to that.
Like
but I think the difference with this tournament is because it's got the 6 different confederations from all over the world, is you can truly call yourself the global champions of club football. And I think there's a lot of prestige to be attached to that. And I think going forward, I mean, this is the first one of this format. As I said before, they changed it. So it's going to be once every 4 years. So for 4 years now, whoever wins it, let's just say Man City win it. They won it last time. To call yourself the Club World Champions for the next 4 years, I think that carries a lot of weight.
Yeah, it does. It does. And, you know, it's another nice thing to have on your shirt. I think they said as well, the team that wins it will have that badge on their shirt for the next 4 years as well. So usually it's like, I think clubs only have it on for it that year that they would have previously won it.
Yeah,
you'd have it for 4 years basically. So you've got another 4 years till someone can chat to you.
And you can imagine that will attract a lot of sponsorship, a lot of interest.
Yeah, it's true.
I would say even interest in terms of signing players.
Yeah, maybe.
Players are going to want to align with a brand that can call itself the best club side in the world.
I guess so. But then I feel like for you, maybe not for Europe, but for other like confederations, yes. Like we're already seeing that with the Saudi teams. Like you've got Ronaldo saying, "Oh, I would like to play in it." Do you know what I mean? So, and they tried to make a thing to try and get Al Nassr in it.
Yeah.
Like maybe I don't know if European players will look at it and be like, oh, that's something I really want to do. Like, I don't know. We have to see. I guess it's the first one, so there's a lot of questions.
No, I hear what you're saying. I think it's going to probably be taken a little bit more seriously in the countries outside of Europe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I actually agree.
Yeah, and certainly I think it will grow as the tournament progresses.
I actually hope there's a lot of upset. Like I said already, I hope like maybe a Saudi team or an African team or whatever it is turns up on one of the European teams, because that's the only time, like, it makes you, it's good for the competition as well, because then it's like, it's not really just a rollover for the European clubs to win something. It's actually like, wow, these teams, you see why they're the best of the best, you see why they will win the competition. It gives credit to the competition as well.
Because I think City won it in 2023, the old format. They beat Fluminense 4-0, or was it 3, something like that. A comfortable win. I don't think it's going to be like that this time. I think it's going to be...
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree with that.
And like you said, if we get to like the business end of the tournament and there are, teams from different parts of the world, I think it will in itself create interest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So any reservations you have? I mean, like some people are saying it's too much football at the end of the season.
That's one thing I would say, like, I think it's too much football. I say this about a lot of competitions anyways. I think especially in the Premier League, like I'm not a City or a Chelsea fan, but you worry for those players that have played every minute. Like for Man City, well, I guess they didn't make it far in the Champions League, but they played every game in the league. You would have played in the Champions League. All the cup competitions, you made to a cup competition final. You then, after the season's done, you go straight on international duty for a week, play 2 games, or 2 weeks maybe, a week and a half. You play 2 games, then you don't even get a break. You're going straight out to America, which is like, 10 hours away on a flight, and then you're expected to play then. And then as well, if you're a new player that's gone into the team, like, you don't really get a pre-season. Like, how does that impact you as well, going into your actual season in your actual league, where that actually matters a lot? Like, you don't have time, pre-season is an important time to actually, like, learn about your club, learn how you're going to play. Instead, you're going to be just thrown in the deep end and having to play in this competition because there's a lot of money on the end of it. Like, I don't know, there's a lot of questions I have about it. Like, I guess we'll have to see how it plays out. I guess we will have
to see. But one thing I would say, I mean, it would appear that City are taking it very seriously. Because obviously City, their domestic season wasn't very good at all.
Exactly.
They're trophyless.
City, Chelsea, Real Madrid, all of these teams are taking it seriously. I'm
hearing as well that PSG, who obviously won the Champions League in such very impressive fashion, apparently they're taking it very seriously as well. Look, can you imagine for them?
You said $100 million or something.
$125 million.
$125 million. That might be £100 million or something. That's a lot of money.
It is.
That's maybe 3 or 4 players.
And you can see why a team like PSG will be motivated to win that tournament. They've just won the Champions League in very impressive fashion. Imagine if they was to go on and annex a Club World Championship as well.
Exactly.
They'll be saying, listen, as far as it's concerned, everything done. We are the best side in the world without any shadow of a doubt.
They would have completed football, basically.
Yeah, exactly. That's like a Grand Slam completion, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I guess, it remains for me to ask you, are you looking forward to it? How excited are you by this tournament?
I wouldn't say I'm excited, but I will watch some of it. I won't watch every game, but I wouldn't say like it's not like a World Cup or the Champions League or something where like I'm jumping over and I'm excited to watch it, or the Euros, but...
Do you think it might grow on you? So do you think it will be like one of those competitions whereby you'll have an interest in it, but when it gets to, like, we say the business end, like semi-finals, finals and stuff like that, you think you'll be all in then, or...?
Yeah, maybe. I think it depends on results, and like, because if we start watching it and it's just Real Madrid, it's just all the European teams slapping all the other teams. That's a bit boring. Like, you actually want to see some type of jeopardy. You want to see maybe they might be at threat of not going through, blah blah. Like, you want to watch that because that's more entertaining. But I mean, I will look forward to the to the round of 16 when there's actual jeopardy on the lines.
I agree with that. With that.
And it's also a good time to look at the rivals and see what their new signings are like.
Definitely.
Prepare.
Any obvious favourites? Anyone you think might win?
I think PSG and Real Madrid, I think, are my obvious favourites. I think Chelsea, Man City, Atletico, Juventus, etc. I don't think they're of the level of those clubs. And I feel
notice
like
they're all European teams, you know.
yeah, if I'm being honest, like I don't think like if you ask me to say, do I think Botafogo's going to win? Like, no, I'm not going to say that. Or Auckland City, like, nah, I don't.
No.
I don't believe any of those teams are going to win. I do want to see, like I said, I want to see some Saudi teams turn up. I want to see them get far.
I'll tell you what else would be good is if we see the emergence of any like players for any of the other teams that you think, wow, I wouldn't mind seeing them at Arsenal, seeing them in the Premier League. Because I reckon some of those the teams from those confederations, you know, your Oceanias, your CONCACAF, your Africa.
It's an audition, isn't it?
Yeah. That is a big stage for them.
Yeah.
And if they can, you know what I mean, have some good games.
Exactly, yeah.
They've got their name out there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're
Scouts
right.
will be there watching that.
Yeah, no,
you know
you're
what I'm
right.
saying?
Exactly. It's a massive audition to show other maybe big clubs like, yo, there's talent in these areas as well. And like I said, they got all of those clubs, they got to this competition on merit as well. They did well in their own leagues or whatever it is to get there. So they must be good to some degree. Maybe not to the European level, but they got there via merit. So let's see.
You're going to be backing any of the British teams?
Nah. Allow that.
I knew you were going to say that.
I'm not backing no British team.
So you don't think like a British team winning it will reflect well on the Premier League? We'll be able to say, look, man, we got Man City or Chelsea. Look, these men are...
I want to see them get. I don't even want to see them get to round 16. Allow that.
And that's the other thing I want to see. I want to see if there's any upsets, man.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be amazing.
You know what? That's why, like, I don't even really watch the Saudi league yet, but that's why I wouldn't mind the Saudi league getting far, because the amount of, especially in the Premier League, the amount of hate that league gets, the way we talk about it, like, just send them Saudi. Imagine if one of them Saudi teams pulls up on one of them.
I was thinking that very same thing before I did the show.
That's what I actually want to see. Like, I actually want to see that because it's a bit of jeopardy. It makes it interesting. Now
and
you're
looking
looking at it like,
the game's been played in America. You know, it's going to be quite hot.
Yeah, exactly.
Or very hot even.
Yeah, you're playing in Florida.
The conditions could favour some of those other teams.
Exactly.
So listen, man, why not?
Exactly.
And I reckon there will be some surprises. Definitely.
Maybe we'll look at those players that went to Saudi like, you know what? It's quite maybe a bit ambitious move. They're making the bag.
That's it.
They're happy they're playing football.
Ivan Toney told you, man, the other day. He said, "Listen, man, don't judge it until you watch it." He goes, "Trust me, it's tough out here. You know what I mean? It's real football." So, yeah, I'd love to see a couple of upsets here or there, a couple of players emerge that you can say, "Wow, this guy looks like a player. Let's sign him up." Yeah. But in terms of who I think will win it, I mean, obviously, I don't know too much about a vast majority of some of the other teams that are not in it from Europe. But I think the way I'm seeing PSG play at the moment, the way they annihilated Milan in the final, I'd have to make them. They're also beaten.
Yeah, I'd say they're the favourites.
Yeah, they're the favourites from Europe. But like we said, it's an international tournament. Personally, I've got to say, man, I am looking forward to seeing this.
Yeah.
I will be doing something for one of our sister channels, DR Sports. We'll be doing that first game with PSG versus Atletico. That's a really good game on Sunday. I'm looking forward to it, man, because like I said, I want to see what some of these other teams have got. I want to see some of their players. I want to see how it all works out. And the fact that they've changed the format, the fact that they're going all in terms of promotion, I want to see how this works out. I mean, I do know that the ticket sales have been a bit sluggish, apparently.
Yeah. I think the president was saying that they're worried because there's not really a massive fan demand. And I think, number one, no offence, it's being held in America where, like...
it's not a bastion of football.
Yeah, I guess football's not really their main sport. Also, ticket prices are super expensive, like about $300.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm not saying that Champions League tickets are cheap, but you could go to a Champions League game. Like, I went to a few for about £60.
Yeah.
And those were to see some of the best teams in Europe. You know what I mean? So
I think they got that wrong, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they tried to. I think they're taking advantage of the people trying to go, like, especially since it's a first tournament. I think just keep your ticket prices a bit lower. Try and get people to go to it, and then
create the interest that way.
Create the interest, and then maybe you put the price up for the final, semi-final, etc.
Yeah, I think it could be a slow burner. I think what will happen is probably people won't take a hell of a lot of notice in it until you start to get to what we call the business stage of the competition, quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals. But yeah, I am looking forward to it. It starts this weekend, and man, let's go. I mean, Arsenal unfortunately won't be in it, but let's hope that come 4 years' time, we are
just rest. I'm just happy that our players are having rest.
Yeah, well, it's been said that the teams that are taking part in it, in terms of the Premier League teams, Chelsea and Man City, might be at a disadvantage come
because
come August when our Premier League season starts. So I guess we'll have to wait and see.
It's in La Liga where Atletico and Real Madrid wrote to La Liga saying, can we have our games a bit later when the season starts, just because of the amount of football played. And I think it was approved. So yeah, Chelsea, you know the Premier League already, they know business about other competition. They're saying you're coming back and playing. So you know, then it is maybe a bit of a disadvantage because you're not going to have full rest. Players might be a bit lethargic.
But generally speaking, I am looking forward to it, and I think PSG will win. And you said who?
Yeah, I said PSG.
PSG as well. So we're both going for PSG. Yeah. We both want PSG to win, to be honest.
If not PSG, Real Madrid. Big up Trent.
Yeah. Big up Trent. Yeah. Okay, thanks very much, Kenya.
Yes.
And thank you guys so much for watching. Put it in the comments. Hey, what do you think of the tournament? Do you think it'll work? Who do you want to see win? Who do you want to see in it in 4 years' time in terms of your own personal clubs? Let us know. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe. We are out. Take care.